What's up, guys? It is the Sports Star Brad Walker, and welcome inside the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Radio. Hopefully, everyone out there is having a great Thursday evening as we are getting one day closer to the weekend. I do have my co-host Adam hanging on the line here. I'm going to go ahead and and Lewis is also here as well. I'm going to go ahead, guys, and read the sponsors real quick, and then we can get into the show. If you guys have not known, In the Zone Sports Radio has gear. Go to squadlocker.com, type in the Zone Sports Radio. Again, with this upcoming holiday season, it will be good time to order your holiday gear from Squad Locker. And then again, guys, just search In the Zone Sports Radio. I am also sponsored, guys, by CreatingZenSpaces.com, the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. Also, guys, I'm sponsored by B&B Graphics and More. They have a Facebook page, guys, at B&B Graphics and More. They customize in tumblers from video games to sports tumblers as well. And since it's the holidays, guys, T-shirts, vinyl, Santa cookies, milk for Santa, reindeer customs. Guys, just mention me, the Sports Star Brad Walker, and get 10% off your order. There are two ways to place an order, guys. You can either private message them on Facebook. The Facebook group, again, is B&B Graphics and More. Or you can make an order on B&B Graphics and More at gmail.com. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to bring both gentlemen on here. What is going on, gentlemen? How are we doing this evening?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Adam?
Good. Doing good. Good, guys.
Good to see you again.
Were you guys able to get the notes I sent you?
I got the notes. Write them over.
I wasn't able to see the notes, actually.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and go through what we'll do. Because my man Adam here predicted that the winner of the race would win. Mr. Elliott won.
Chase Elliott
on Sunday. But the first article I have, guys, that was going on was talking about Jimmie Johnson. I know Adam's a big Jimmie Johnson fan, so I'll let him talk about Jimmie ending his career, not retiring fully, but retiring as a full-time driver. And if you have any opinion, Lewis, on that, let me know. Go ahead, Adam, with that, and go ahead and tell us about Jimmie Johnson.
Well, I've been a Jimmie Johnson fan since day one. There's a parallel between I was a Bill Elliott fan, Chase's dad, because he drove the 94 McDonald's car back in the day, back in the mid-'90s. I was a big McDonald's fan, which I think we all were when we were 6. And so when Bill was fixing to retire and he was wrapping his career up, Jimmie Johnson, he was cool, he was young, he was new, and he was winning. And, I like rooting for winners. I root for New England. In the past, I rooted for Michigan, but, and sometimes you root for losers because you're forced to by nature of birth, being from Michigan and rooting for the Lions. And, I never expected Jimmie Johnson to be so successful. You never know when a driver or in any sport, no one expected Tom Brady to win 6 Super Bowls or Joe Montana to win 4, or, Gretzky, and then sometimes, you expect a guy like a Gretzky or a LeBron to be a superstar from day one. And when you have a guy like Jimmie Johnson, a diamond in the rough, he didn't win his first Xfinity, or at the time the Busch Series race until his third or fourth season in the series, and it was kind of a one-off win, and nobody knew exactly what was gonna happen. 83 wins later, tied for 6th all time, 7 championships, 5 in a row, won titles in 3 different series formats, championship formats, won throughout the 2000s into the 2010s. After 20 years to hang up the helmet and to go out with a 5th place finish, not exactly a victory, but getting to celebrate your teammates' success, someone that you helped to mentor over the last 5, 6, 7 years, watching him come up and watching that team blossom into something special and a chance to be a multi-time champion, especially under this format, if it continues the same way for the next 5 or 10 years. I look for a bright future for Chase Elliott. And I know Jimmy gets to go pursue something else. He's raced in Baja. He's run Baja trucks. He's done sports cars. Now he gets to go try his hand at IndyCar racing next season.
Uh-huh.
And he said he's going to run the road courses. He's not opposed to running some of the ovals. He's going to for sure run the road courses. And so I expect to see him down in your neck of the woods there, Bradley, at St. Pete in February.
That would be pretty damn cool. I'll be honest with you, that'd be cool if that was the case. I think honestly, if they allow spectators come February, I think that race will sell out if he's coming down here.
No question about that.
Yeah,
I think that race would sell out even without him. I mean, it's really easy to draw a big crowd for your first, for the first event of the year.
Right.
Right.
So, that's really all I have to say about Jimmy. And congratulations on retirement. I'm sad to see you go, but you're sending Hendrick Motorsports off in a good direction. I like the direction the 48 had over the last 10 weeks. Alex Bowman gets to take the ride next year. I look to see. I don't expect to see anything spectacular next season from Alex Bowman. Tepid expectations because it's kind of it's not a new team as in like starting over, but it's a new direction for his career. So I'm thinking maybe one win, he might sneak in there and win a plate race or win a short track, but to go into the race a little bit, if that's all right. I didn't think he was going to get it done. And we talked to me after the event, after he sealed it up. I thought it was going to be a tough road to hoe because you're getting to start and having to go to the back, and it being a relatively short race at just over 400 miles. I think it was 400 miles and only 267 laps. It doesn't leave much room for error, and when you have a race like that, and you have three strong cars, plus everybody else that you're having to battle, and racing is such a different sport than any other sport, where you're battling the track, you're battling conditions, you're battling the elements, where you can take in football, you can temper you can control the elements to a certain degree by changing your play calling. Mm-hmm. You can't change your play calling when you're out there racing. There's just you just have what you have, and that's all that you have.
Especially 120 miles an hour.
Yeah. And you have to manage your equipment throughout the whole day, and you might and with this being such a weird, there was no practice, no qualifying, no on track time until the drop of the green flag on Sunday afternoon, and then you're getting so you don't know what you got until you know what you got. Where usually you'd have 4, 5, 6 hours of practice, you'd have a whole qualifying run, you'd get to feel out your ride and understand, okay, this is what we've got. And when you look, you have to look at the weather reports. Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be somewhere in between? What's the wind doing? You could be all weekend long. You're battling a headwind, down the backstretch. And then all of a sudden Sunday morning, it's clear, it's dry, it's green, and now all that preparation you've done, you set your car up to be this one way, and now it's all for naught because the conditions are completely changed. With football or baseball, or and then the other two major sports are played indoors where weather isn't a factor. You can control that to a certain extent. Like if the sun's in your eyes, you put a pair of sunglasses on, maybe you adjust the bill of your hat. You get some eye black, and you can kind of control the weather conditions. You change your play calling. Maybe it's raining, grips an issue on the ball, and so you make an adjustment. You maybe go more run heavy, more shorter passes. With auto sports, and it's not just that, it's all motorsports. when conditions can change in a heartbeat. You start a race at 3:00 in the afternoon. By the time you're ending it, it's 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. You could go from 90 degrees at the height of the day down to the low 70s, and the track's totally different. And a car that was dominating the beginning of the race is now 15th, 20th.
True.
I relinquish my
exactly.
time.
Yeah, I've seen races that where one is clearly out of it, and then all of a sudden they just get like a surge, and they just forge ahead into the lead and whatnot. And of course, the crashes, of course, change everything, because I've seen a races where there's been a lot of crashes. And that's, of course, I kind of expect it, scary as it is, but there's always at least, one point in every race where we do see a crash, whether it's involving 2 cars or 5 cars or whatever. And, it's pretty scary to watch. But also, like you're saying, like how you expect these players to win, but you also got to expect sometimes the underdog to win too, the long shot to do it. I mean, because of one time Chase was a long shot. Nobody even, thought about him, but I guess, he takes after his dad, of course, which I kind of forgot. I kind of forgot about his dad. It was a long time ago. I'm more associated with the Richard Pettys and whatnot, and the Earnhardts, and the Andretti's. Those are the legends of racing, and those are the ones that I remember. The Indy 500 and Daytona. I don't see a lot of racing, but I do pay attention to the big ones. The Indy 500, the Daytona, which they say is the big one of them all. Well, not exactly, because I always thought Indy was the big one. That's the one that I remember growing up and whatnot. It is sad to see though another
Indy. They're both crown jewel races of motorsports.
Yes.
Monaco, the 24 Hours of Daytona. If you want to consider yourself one of the greatest of all time, you got to win those races in your brand. It's like horse racing.
Right.
As a horse, you want to win Belmont, you want to win the Preakness, you want to win the Kentucky Derby.
Absolutely.
So when you're an IndyCar driver, you want to win the Indy 500. When you're a NASCAR driver, you want to win the Daytona 500. When you run F1, you want to win Monaco. If you're a sports car driver, you want to win the 24 hours. Whether you win the whole thing or you win your class.
You're talking about Le Mans, right? 24 hours Le Mans?
Yeah, Le Mans, 24 hours Daytona, whichever one you happen to favor. Monaco is big too. I think Monaco's a fun race if you like motorsports. That's my favorite weekend as a motorsports fan. You got Monaco in the morning, Indy in the afternoon, and the 600 on Sunday night.
Yep, more of a newer race though, but I get it.
Yeah,
so
been around since 66, 65.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah, the World 600. It was the World 600 back in the 60s.
Okay, I just know it's Coca-Cola 600, but now I get it now. Now I know where it came from. So it's like, Memorial Day Sunday, you have the Formula One for breakfast. Your brunch is Indy 500, and the dinner course, or if you eat early, it's dessert for the Coca-Cola 600.
Yep.
On your plate. Yeah, but it is sad to see another legend, especially from my era, retire. That means I'm getting old. Oof.
Right. At least he didn't go out like some of the other legends with a really miserable day.
Oh yeah.
Like Petty in '92, his last race.
Right.
Or Wallace or
Rusty
Martin. They had some rough years at the end of their career.
Yeah.
I know that he didn't have the last 3 years weren't exactly great.
I know.
But to finish 5th, it's not a win, but it's got to feel better. It's better than running, and to run in the top 10, top 5 lead laps all day and be competitive. I was surprised he walked away. I didn't think he was going to until they announced the IndyCar deal. With everything going on, I didn't think that Hendrick was going to find a replacement. So I thought he would sign on for one more year. When he announced the IndyCar deal, and it's like, well, yeah, he's not coming back now. So I spun the money together to go see him live one last time at Talladega, and it was incredible.
Wow.
It was an incredible experience.
I'll bet.
It was I can't recommend Talladega enough. Bradley knows we did a whole. He had me on half an hour, and I would have gone for 3 hours if he'd have let me.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Maybe they'll film Talladega Nights too. Never mind. No.
No, that movie was not.
Robbie lives.
Yeah, they were more. I
Sorry.
feel mocked.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. All right. The next topic, Lewis, we had on the docket was the NBA. The NBA. Starting with the NBA mock draft. Okay, so again, this is a mock draft. So this is someone's pick.
Yeah.
They have number 1 trade to the Thunder via Minnesota. That means they would take LaMelo Ball. The Thunder would receive Jarrett Culver. The Timberwolves would receive the number 25 overall pick and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know a lot about the NBA guys. I know who LaMelo Ball is.
Unfortunately.
Do you see the Thunder moving up, or do you think anyone else? Because again, like I said on my Monday show, the Magic have been rumored to move up. Do you see anyone moving up, or do you see Minnesota staying at that number 1 overall pick and taking LaMelo Ball?
I see Minnesota staying there, and I don't believe the mock drafts. From any of the called experts like there. That's just bogus.
Right.
Somebody had an article to write.
Right. Well, I'm saying, the next pick would be Golden State, and they take James Wiseman. We all know who that is. That's the kid that left Memphis, got in trouble. So again, if he goes to there, you already have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. So he would add to that firepower that Golden State would be right back in the finals again.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we just had a hiccup all along the way. I mean, I don't think Golden State's going to stay in the basin for very long. They're not like they were back in the 70s and 80s when they were just like, well, shall I say the word trash? But I don't think we're going to see that. They got most of their players back. I don't know what happened last year, but
Steph and Klay being out, that was really the big thing. They didn't have them all year, so
right.
And Draymond's a triple single and quadruple single.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I could see the Warriors trading out of that position for depth. They need a guy off the bench. They need a real solid sixth man. But I mean, other than that, if you're gonna stay there, you might as well just take Williams or I think his name was Williams or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Yes.
I was looking over the show notes, and I just can't see any of those trades happening. I can't see any of those moves being made.
Now, Lewis, at number 8, they have you guys taking Patrick Williams out of Florida State, the Knicks, at number 8. Do you agree with that pick, or do you know anything about him?
Well, the Knicks, they do need, but they're so flat. I mean, they really need a good center. That's their biggest problem right there.
Okay.
And a forward to go with it too. So
he's a shooting forward or power forward. That's what he's listed as.
Yeah, power forward's good. That's good, but we still need a good center to go with it too, because that's where they've been lacking. We haven't had a good center in a long time because Porzingis did absolutely well. But this way, nothing. Exactly. And they were counting on him. He was like, he was the rage when he came to New York. I mean, I even came up with an expression based on the Big Bang Theory, which was he said. Porzingis. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I can't believe we're saying this on live radio. Oh no! But a forward, that's decent, but we definitely need a good center. Otherwise, we're not going to do anything, and it'd be another year in the toilet, which I don't want to see.
What do you think about
retirement? No, I guess not.
In all honesty, I even though I hate to bring him up on here a lot, I have to agree with Stephen A. Smith. You can't have the NBA being well with the New York team not doing so well. And I'm not talking about Brooklyn because I know they got KD, they got Kyrie. I know that. I'm talking about the Knicks. If the Knicks and the Lakers are good, they're taken care of. We all know that.
The thing is, bro, even though New York has 2 New York teams, sort of, the Nets will never be respected. They will always be the baby brother of the New York Knicks. They'll never respect them, even if they do make it to the finals twice with New Jersey, with Jason Kidd as the coach, but they were still no, they didn't get the respect they deserve.
Mhm.
From them, they were just like the second-rate team. It's like they were still back in like the ABA. I mean, they
Right.
won 2 championships, but did anybody really care? Well, no. So if no one really knows except in this area alone, in New York, New Jersey area. But outside of that, would anybody care if the Nets won? They couldn't care less.
Mhm.
Right, I couldn't care.
They'll never live up to the Knicks' legacy, and no matter who you get, because they're just they are. They're just unappreciated, not respected. It's just how that franchise came out to be. I mean, if they moved to Los Angeles, I think they have the same problem because the Clippers are the baby brother to the Lakers, and of course they are one of the biggest choke artists that in all sports. Next to say the Bills or there's one other. Oh yeah, Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh.
Sorry, I had to do it. Well,
No, that's just Atlanta sports in general.
That's fine. So the report, the report that I'm hearing, and I've seen this a couple times pop up today when I was getting ready for the show, that Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston.
You have a problem.
You see that's going? Do you think that's going to happen? You see him?
Well, I'm hearing a lot about that.
Okay.
Westbrook and Harden, I think, both went out. Well, they were thinking I see we're having going in a different direction, and I'm not happy about it. So
Right.
if there's any truth to what he said, yeah, but maybe he was just blowing smoke and whatnot. I mean, because Houston did make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna crash and burn. I don't think I see that happening either. But with the rumblings I heard this week, this could be the end of it. This could be the end of a good era here. Trouble is,
I see Westbrook walking.
You do?
I do, and I think if Westbrook walks, Harden will go to Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago. Okay.
he wants to be top dog. That's what I've heard. I've heard he wants to be in charge. He wants to be the big man. Chicago's a huge market. It's the third largest market in the country. You can't go to New York. You can't go to LA. He'd have to compete with LeBron. Can't go to Philly and be top dog because they got Simmons.
Right.
And the other one in Philly whose name's escaping me now. Embiid. Embiid is the one who's
Right.
Miami. Maybe Miami, but I think Chris Paul's going to Miami.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What's he gonna do? Because I'm hearing what rumblings
So
about
I think
Chris too.
if Harden leaves, I think he goes to. If he's either going to Chicago or he stays in Houston.
Yeah.
I think
and he could be. And the reason I think Chicago is because he could be top dog in Chicago, and they could build around him and build in that market.
Yeah,
It's just something that came to me this afternoon. I was thinking a lot about it, trying to figure out, thinking about what we were going to talk. I was reading reading the notes, reading the news, and working on my presentation for tonight. That's what I did. I have lots of downtime at work, maybe too much.
Yeah, I get downtime to do my notes after doing notes.
So both of you guys think that Westbrook is going to walk away and get on. Now, do you think he would fit well in Miami? Being that they lost to the Lakers in the NBA Finals, he could help Jimmy Butler down here. They don't have a superstar on that team. They don't consider Jimmy Butler a superstar. So, do you think he would fit well here in Miami?
I think
it depends on where Chris Paul goes. If Chris Paul goes to Miami, not a chance.
Okay.
I don't see him going to Miami. I could see him going to Dallas.
Dallas is enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it hinges on where AD goes. If AD leaves LA, Harden goes to LA. Harden will go hook up with LeBron to try and win a title.
Yeah.
If AD stays in LA, I think Harden goes to Chicago to be top dog in Chicago.
Well, where does Giannis fit in this whole picture? He's a free agent too.
Giannis stays in Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he gets a supermax deal from Milwaukee and flounders there for another 4 years.
Okay.
Because they can't afford to bring anybody else in.
No.
Okay.
No, I believe
he walks?
Well, I know because they don't. I mean, who else do they have? They have Eric Bledsoe. Who else is on that team in Milwaukee? That's with
I'm not sure. I don't follow the NBA all that well.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see. I see Greek Freak staying in Milwaukee with that. And, AD, I think, stays where he is. I mean, that Lakers has a powerful lineup. I think they're going to be staying intact for a while. And I think it's all going to be pretty much, and I think he would be a perfect fit. Like you said, and I do think that Jimmy Butler. Okay, maybe he's not, the number one superstar, but he's on his way though, because he's not that player. So I do think that he would be good fit, and Jimmy Butler is on his way to becoming a superstar. I think within the next 2 years, that's he's gonna be one. So I wouldn't rule him out. Ben Simmons, different direction.
You think Ben Simmons is going the wrong direction?
Oh, please! I never thought it was anything really that great. That Sixers team has a lot of problems. They seem to be so inconsistent. They seem to be dominant in one game. At home they were good last year, but on the road they were just pathetic. I mean, it was like I say a Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. At home they're Jekyll, on the road they're Hyde, and they just lose it. They just fall apart, and I don't see. They got to really work on some stuff. They're a long way from becoming a dominant team in the NBA. A lot of predictions say, they'll be like second in the East or third, depending on who you go by. Believe me, they were nowhere near being in contention for going into a conference final and whatnot. They are, shall we say, a work in progress. And I mean a lot.
Do you think they're a good regular season team, bad playoff team?
Well, a decent regular season team. They do get 45, 46 wins, but a playoff team, forget it.
You think they're one and done?
Yeah, one and done indeed. I mean, I'm pretty old, so I know what the Sixers were like back in the 70s, when they had Dr. J and whatnot and were contenders. They are nowhere near that from when they were 30, 35 years ago. Oh, boy,
yeah.
Do you think
I know about a lot of guys?
you think Simmons would be better on another team? Do you think he's in the wrong atmosphere in Philadelphia? Or do you think that he's just the style of player that he is? It's just the style of player that he is.
I think he belongs on another planet, to be honest with you. But it's the style of what he is, and some people don't change. So I think it's just the style of how he is, and I think that's just. I mean, they look him as a superstar, but I think he's just slightly above mediocrity, to be honest with you.
Okay, all right.
And I'll say one thing though. Going back a few years, now I don't know if you guys are familiar with a basketball publication by the name of Slam. It's not really well known, but I picked it up one year, and he was just about to go in his rookie year. They already ranked him in the top 50 players. How do you rank someone you don't even play a professional game yet? And what happened? He didn't play that year anyway because he was injured, in preseason and was out the whole year. Yeah. Talk about premature.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think Adam hit the nail on the head earlier when he said that he got to write an article. So somebody had to say, hey, I'm going to take a stab. I'm going to throw this kid right into it. Top 50 players, just to get people to talk about it, get people to read it, and that's what he did.
Boy, were you wrong?
Somebody got an article to write.
Somebody's got an article to write.
Somebody's got a deadline. That's what I actually meant. Somebody's got a deadline to fill.
Yes.
Better write something quick and make it clickbaity.
Yep.
Click.
So guys, we'll move to the NHL. I guess the league is trying to start their season on or around the 1st
of January.
That's what I've been reading. Now they're going to have a shortened schedule. Now they said that they will try to get the schedule between 50 and 70 games, even though the players want to have an 82-game season.
No.
So, do you guys see a full season?
I need to back up. Was that January 1st then?
January 1st, yes, sir.
Okay. No, I don't think – see, what I thought they should do, and I think we talked about this last week or week before last, was start February, have open training camp in December, middle of December, do your preseason, and not like a full full preseason, but have some simulated games, full squad simulated games, like you take 9 players from, each side and you play a full game of your teammates. And do that for a month and a half to get everybody back into shape and into game speed and game thinking and start in February and play 48 games like they did a few years, like 2013. That's what start on February 1st and just kind of cram as many games in as you can and just get the season over as quickly as you can so we can get ready so we can be done by July of 2021 the following year, or June, June, so that we can start 2022 at a full and just get back into it the way it was.
If you start in February, I don't see how you're going to be able to do that because you got 16 teams going into all best of 7. I don't see anybody in June. That would probably be in July. And even Gary Bettman, who I can't stand as a commissioner, said that he doesn't want to go into deep into the summer, with hockey like he did last year. So I think the best thing to do would be to start in January. And I don't think you want to cram it all in because that's going to bring him on exhaustion. And that's the last thing I think that the league needs. So I think, if you can start January 1st, or maybe even just a week later, I'd be fine with that. But the owner from Vegas was looking at February. But, I don't trust some owner from just a team over the commissioner. So I think I'm going to stick with Bettman's decision on.
Well, it's Bettman's, so
I mean, he's an idiot.
At this point, it's 50-50.
Right.
It is Bettman after all.
Well, yeah, but of course I don't like him. I mean, Bettman wants to destroy the league. 2 lockouts, a canceled season. I'm like, what is this guy doing? How is this guy still commissioner? I mean, he is like the biggest idiot out of all the commissioners. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like, Roger Goodell. I mean, he is no angel either. But, Bettman.
But Roger Goodell hasn't buried the NFL. No. I got the NFL game on right now.
Yeah, but he didn't cancel a full season. I mean, Bettman canceled one, and he almost canceled in 2005. That was on the brink.
2005 was the lockout season, and then 2013 was the 48-game season, which I believe started in February. That's what I was thinking.
I don't think it was fair. I think it was late January. But
same.
Yeah.
I'd have to look. But that's what I was thinking. A 48-game schedule. Get them all in. Obviously not like cram them in game, off day, game, off day, game, off day. And just so that we can reset the calendar at the end of this upcoming season.
Yeah, but the thing is that when they play that 40-game schedule, they're playing 4 games in 5 nights. And, that kind of, runway exhaustion. So I don't think that's a very smart move, although I like
if you're going to play 60 games or 70 games, you're going to be playing 5 games in 5 nights, though. I would have to imagine, or trying to cram an 82-game season.
They would try to end the league in late August, is what it says.
Late August?
No, that would never work. That would never work.
You're not going to be able to get a full read.
Especially when you have the Olympics in that coming year, and NBC will not allow that. No. That'd be a bad.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
That boggles my mind.
I could see 55, 60 games this year.
No,
that's good.
Maybe they were looking at TV numbers from last year and having hockey in August was bringing big TV numbers. I don't know. Or I'd have to go back and look at the numbers because
you're running competing with college football and pro football starting in August. You don't want to do that if you're the NHL. I mean,
but that doesn't start until the end of August. So if you end at the beginning of August, and you're not competing against real NFL football. You're competing against preseason football. If we have a preseason in 2021, we don't know if we're going to have a vaccine. We don't know if we're going to have a control on this thing. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. So looking into the future, you might as well just throw darts at the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get the dartboard. So
I have a dartboard. It's fine.
Well, because the Olympics will start July 23rd, and that'll go to let's say August.
Yeah.
So I don't see how.
I wasn't even thinking about the Summer Olympics in 2021. I was thinking about the Winter Olympics in 2022.
I know, but the Summer Olympics look like they might be on target for next year, and that could be a problem. I don't think they want to have the Olympics competing with or hockey competing with the Olympics at the same time. So I think they want to get it done before that happens.
Yeah.
Can't say I blame him.
If Bettman gets his way, here's some of the realignment that he wants to do.
Oh, yeah.
He's got 4 divisions starting in the East. Now, again, this is the Eastern Conference. So the East would be Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey. South Central is Carolina, Chicago, Columbus. The West is Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado. The Canada division would be Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal. Then the lower half would be the Islanders, Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, Capitals. The Central would be Detroit, Florida, St. Louis, Nashville, Tampa Bay. The West would be Dallas, LA, Minnesota, San Jose, Vegas. And then, of course, the other 4 Canadian teams left, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. That is one of the predictions they could do.
Proposal.
The other one would be the 5 division, would be the Atlantic, would be the way it is now. Boston, Buffalo, Carolina, Columbus, Florida, Tampa Bay. The Metro would be Jersey, Islanders, Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, Capitals. The Central would be Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis. Pacific would be Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, San Jose, Vegas. And then, of course, Canada would be the Canadian teams, Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. Right. So that's what they have there. And then another one, they have 3 conferences, 8 divisions. The Eastern Conference would be as follows: Boston, Pittsburgh, Washington, New Jersey, the Islanders, Rangers, and the Flyers. The Southeast would be Carolina, Columbus, Florida, Tampa Bay. That used to be like it used to be. Yes. And in the West, it would be Chicago, Detroit, Nashville, St. Louis. Midwest is Arizona, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota. And then Pacific is Anaheim, LA, San Jose, and Vegas. And then the Canadian teams are as Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg. So those are the divisions that Bettman wants to put in play if they have to realign the league. Because I know as of right now, from what I've been reading, guys, that the Canada is not going to allow us to go up there and vice versa. So if they're going to do that, they're going to have to play the Canadians are going to be playing each other all season long until we get to the postseason. So I don't know how they would determine how that's going to work. I don't know. That's Bettman's decision.
Where would they play though? Because they would probably go into a bubble. So like, where would the location be?
Okay, so if it's the first one, Lewis, let me see what they say here. Go back to the top here. Okay, so here's what he's reporting. He wants to start on January 1st, have a 48-game season that will end before July. That was what he's predicting. And then how they would play is the U.S. teams, will play each divisional opponent 6 to 7 times. The top 4 teams in each division makes the playoffs. The Canadian teams play each division opponent 8 times. The top 4 teams make the postseason. So the East and Western are nicely split. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't really say if there's a bubble in this, but that was. And then the second one, it would be the U.S. teams would play 9 to 10 times each other. The top 3 teams getting to the playoffs. Canadian, again, will play the 8 times. The top 4 teams make the postseason. So, I mean, they have it split up, but I don't see exactly if I don't have an answer, my man, to where they would play.
I would have to assume that they would play in their home of, like kind of like the NFL does, or what NFL and MLB were doing, and just play at each other. Play at your home road. Do your normal, and then you would go to Canada for the playoffs. I would have to pick 2 host cities.
Without fans, of course.
Of course, without fans, or with limited attendance in the cities that were allowed to have attendance.
Okay.
I mean, you guys don't think that we'd have one? The bubble would be 1 U.S. city and 1 Canadian city? It's going to be in the same country again?
It's going to be in Canada. Because the Canadians, that's the only way I could see them doing it is the Canadian government signing off as if it was in Canada, and you'd have to have a 2-week. All the teams would have to convene in the bubble, have a 2-week. They'd have to get tested before they came into Canada. Get tested once they got into Canada. Go directly to the bubble. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Stay in the bubble for 2 weeks. Then you can start your postseason.
Well, I did hear that. I forget which Canadian team it was, but they said that one Canadian team might play in Tampa.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't say. Oh no, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was the NBA. The Raptors were playing in Tampa. That's
going back to that, there is a rumor that the Raptors could play here in Tampa. I know I have a Facebook friend of mine who said that would be great. I guess I'm a member of Tampa Bay basketball. I don't know how I ended up in that Facebook group, but I must have pushed the accept button.
You have now.
Yeah.
Right.
He mentioned about that yeah, there's a possibility, you're right, that the Raptors could play in Tampa this year. Actually, I was going over where they could play.
Would they play at Amaline Arena? Is that a deal?
How about this? How about they play at Tropicana Field? Because you can space them out at Tropicana Field. You can play at the Yuengling Center where the Bulls play, but then it's so compacted in there. I don't know if they would do that, where Amalie Arena would probably be the best viable option.
Is that a dual-purpose stadium, though? Wasn't it specifically built for hockey?
Yes, I think so.
It is, but they played the NCAA basketball tournament.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I did not know that. I was just asking.
No, you're good, Blake. No, yeah, they have concerts in there too. Again, with everything going on this year, obviously not. But normally in a normal year, when there's no hockey in there, they do have concerts in there and stuff like that. And they have played.
Right.
I want to say this past year, the women's Final Four was supposed to be in Tampa, but then again, as people know, they canceled it. But yeah, it would kind of be cool to have basketball in Tampa, at least for a shortened season.
Unfortunately, there probably would be very limited attendance, so you wouldn't be able to get an idea of would basketball go in Tampa. So,
being that I've grown up my whole life here, I don't think so. It's not a basketball town. It really isn't.
No.
Football or hockey. We're not a basketball town. That's Orlando. Let Orlando have their glory. And then you have Daytona, Speedway. So everybody, and then when it comes to college, you got, the three major colleges.
Miami, Florida.
Gables, where Miami plays. Yep. So, yeah. And then, of course, they call themselves the best team in Florida and at UCF. So I don't really know how they call themselves the national champions, but it is what it is. That's what they do. That's what they do. So I'm hoping, yours truly is hoping to be there in a couple weeks when they play USF at Raymond James Stadium on Black Friday. But, I don't know how they call themselves that. I know they got a sponsor for their stadium now. I talked about that on my Monday show. So, yeah, they're moving up, or they're trying to move up, I guess. I don't know how that is.
It's more of a lateral move.
Yeah, there you go. I would say.
Oh, that was on the 30. That was on the 20.
I would.
And he's running the wrong way.
But I don't.
I really don't.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
With them.
After getting to know you a little bit, and I've never had anything against either one of those, USF or UCF.
Yeah.
But they're kind of arrogant over there, aren't they? They think their own crap don't stink, don't they?
It does.
UCF. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. They had that like 26-game winning streak or something like that, and they had played Upper Pigs Knuckle State like 13 times, and then they go and play. Was it Georgia or LSU and get stomped?
I know
it was an SEC school.
Right.
Yeah, they got crushed, and they were touting themselves the 2017 champion because they didn't get to play anybody because they were held out, and then they go and they play a real team and get really destroyed.
Well, they played Auburn, and then they beat the Tigers, and then that's when they clinched themselves national champions. But then, if we all remember, Alabama won the national title that year. So
the real national title.
So Nick Saban's like, okay, well, you want to come play the champ, come play us, but they won't. Where USF and coach and our AD Mike Kelly has scheduled us to play Alabama and Florida and Texas and all these big schools to get USF on the map, or at least try to get them up. Now, again,
with some exposure, if nothing else.
Yeah, they're nowhere near. I mean, I saw them play Notre Dame this year. We got beat 52-0. We're nowhere near an elite program. We're far, far away from that. But to get exposure, to get people to go, hey, there is this team in Tampa that no one talks about. Well, if we can play these guys and at least show that we can give up some kind of fight, you're going to see that. I mean, like I said, I'm excited. because the Gators are coming here next year. So I hope to be at that game because I don't even know who I'm going to cheer for that day. It's going to be a weird day for me. Yeah. Well, because I'm a Gator fan too, so it's going to be hard to walking by. Hopefully by August of next year, we'll have some kind of clearance where there's at least some amount of fans that are allowed to come to Raymond James Stadium.
Yes.
They can see the game live. But I have a funny feeling because of how well Florida travels, there'll be a lot of blue and orange driving down from Gainesville to Tampa to play USF.
That's a 4-hour drive, give or take.
Yeah, it's about a 3.5-hour drive. Not that far. It's not far. If you catch the highway at the right time, it's not too difficult.
Yeah. Depending on who's driving, of course.
True. Yeah. Oh yeah. You got someone that's got a lead foot, you get here in 2.5 hours.
Like in New York and New Jersey, it's worse.
There you go. Okay. So speaking of New York traffic, I was in New York and I was getting ready to come home the night I had to come back to Tampa. You don't sleep because I gotta get up, I gotta get the airplane. There was 2 a.m. in the morning. They had bumper to bumper traffic in New York at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! It's 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah,
where were you? Were you in the city?
I was in Queens. Of
course.
Bradley, they don't just see that doesn't sleep for nothing,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I totally get. Well, I haven't been to
almost 9 million people in New York City now. So I mean, it's an all day, everyday thing.
I haven't been to Vegas yet, so I'm assuming Vegas is the same way. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I want to go to Vegas, but I want to go where I don't want to have to. I want to go VIP.
No, that would be the way to go. Yeah. I mean, that's the way to go. I mean, absolutely, that would be the way to go.
I want to go right down on the strip and just be able to walk to everything.
Yeah,
that would be ideal.
The way to go. All right, gentlemen, we'll go ahead and move on now. Okay, now this is a topic that I know you two are not really going to know a lot about, and that's the Masters that started earlier today.
I thought Tiger had a good round.
He did. He's 3 shots back. He's 3 shots back. So he
had 4 under, right? Shot a 68. 4 under 68.
He has the lead right now at 7 under par. There was a couple guys that didn't finish because they had a rain delay early on. So no, they didn't all get to finish the first round. But I found an interesting article here. I know you guys know who Nick Faldo is, even if you don't know what golf is. Nick Faldo. So he is okay. Here you go, Lewis. He's vowed to run across the first green at Augusta National if Bryson DeChambeau drives the green in any of the 4 rounds that he plays in. So he came out and said, "I will run naked across the first green if he hits the green." So we'll see if that happens this week.
Oh, please don't let him hit the green.
Well, CPS paying attention to this.
The first hole's a 455-yard par 4. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But he did hit Chambeau did hit a 445-yard drive. Wow. That's 10 yards short. So think about that for a second.
That's a huge drive.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I can drive 30 yards. So, I mean, good on him.
I'm playing golf this weekend. I'm playing golf on Sunday in Orlando, so I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds like fun.
Does Tiger have enough to win, though? I mean,
No.
Well, think about back to his last finish at the U.S. Open, which was, less than spectacular.
Right.
I got to wondering, because he's not the phenom that he once was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So he has and the back problems that he's had over the last few years, it's really affected his swing and whatnot. And, one more bad injury, and I think he's going to be done with trying to chase the majors. So, a good start so far, but do you think he's going to have to contend maybe to win this next latest major?
The field's going to have to come back to him.
Ooh, that's going to be rough. That's tough. That's tough. Especially at Augusta. That's tough. And, again, I would love to see him win number 6 and tie Jack for, Green Jackets because Jack has the record right now. And we all know that Nicklaus won his last jacket, I think, at the age of 44 or 45. I don't remember when Jack won his last. in '86. So I mean, it's hard. If he finishes in the top 10 this year, I would be shocked, in my opinion. I don't. His game has not been good this year at all, and so and like you said, Lewis, he's one injury away from being done. Or I mean,
well, don't quote me on that, but
well, no. I'm just saying he's close to he's close to 50 now. Tiger's getting up there in age.
50.
He's he can play on the Champions Tour now, so he can go and leave the PGA Tour and dominate another tour like he dominated the PGA Tour for so many years. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but if he does that, he has to admit he's old.
That's true.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, we'll see how it goes. I mean, you never know.
It's going to take some work, but is it impossible? He's only 3 strokes off the lead. I think if the field comes back to him on Friday, I think if he continues to shoot 4 under and continues to play well, and he hits his fairways, gets in the greens, if he's up and down in 3, I think he can make a run at it.
Okay.
Well, it'll depend, Adam Buddy, on his Saturday. That's the moving day at any golf tournament. Is the third day. You make the cut, you move up the leaderboard, or the leaderboard comes back to you. Your leaders will come back down. And
if he has a chance to don the red polo on Sunday, all bets are off.
Well, yeah, he'll don the red polo. Yeah, that's his thing. He's always done that.
If he's within striking distance on Sunday and he pulls out that, and see he's 3 shots off the lead going into Sunday, and he pulls out that red polo, I don't know. I wouldn't want to take that bet.
Well, I've seen big leagues before. On the first day, a golfer's up 7 and then loses it and whatnot. So,
Golf is a lot like motorsports. If we can go back to the top of the show, you can be shooting great on the first 4 or 5 holes, and then all of a sudden you go and you get in the middle of the course and the wind shifts and the sun's just coming out of the wrong angle, and all of a sudden all your shots are short, or you're pulling off the ball a little too much, and you're opening your hips up a little too much, and next thing you know, you shot a triple bogey on 7.
That's not good.
Or 6 holes, and so then you quit and go drink.
The golf, Lewis is right. That's the whole thing too. I mean, right now Paul Casey sits on top of the leaderboard. He could shoot 4 over par tomorrow and be in the middle of the pack after round 2. I mean, Augusta is one of those golf courses that again. You guys don't know, Bobby Jones is the one that created the golf course. He's the one that designed the Masters tournament they all play in. And Bobby Jones is considered the best golfer, one of the best on the planet. He's the only one up till this point that's won the Grand Slam. Tiger's come close, but has never won the Grand Slam. And, of course, if people out there don't know what the Grand Slam is, that's the 4th year, the same year. Now, back in Bobby Jones's day, it wasn't like it is now. It was stroke play now. Back then, it was you competed with it it was a group thing. So you would play against the guy, and then so it's a different format. And again, they also too back in Jones's day, they played in the rain. They didn't stop. There was no we're gonna go in and play. They played through the rain and everything.
Right. Well, don't they really play through the rain as long as there's no thunder and lightning?
Right.
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah. If there's lightning in the area, they don't play. But
right.
They will
play. Obviously, back in his day, you held up a 1 iron because not even God can hit a 1 iron.
That's what they said.
No, he had to switch to a 5 iron. Oh.
Well, real quick, guys, I'll go ahead and close this out. Lee Elder was the first African American golfer to play in the Masters. He's going to join Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player next year as the honorary starters of the 2021 Masters. Now. Nice. The honorary starters used to have Arnold Palmer, but of course, as we all know, Arnold Palmer passed away.
Yes.
So now there'll be 3 of them again, like there was before, and it's a great honor. I guess they honored Lee the other day and announced that he would be joining Jack and Gary next year at the Masters. Now, hopefully, it will be back in April, like it always is.
Here's my next question.
That will be the interesting part. If everything goes semi back to normal, then we can say that it will be back in April. But then, it's in November, so it's a different look at Augusta. The leaves are changing colors, where normally it's all bright green and the flowers are all blooming in the spring. So it's a different era now this year. And you know what sucks about it is there's nobody there.
There's no fans.
Spectators. So that's what kind of takes away from Augusta and takes away from the tournament. Yeah. And there's a Tiger thing, because Tiger feeds off the crowd. That's a Tiger thing. It always has been his thing. Yeah. And they don't have anybody at the medium moment there. So, yeah, it's going to be a different – again, I won't ever count Tiger out because magic happens.
No.
Magic happens. It happened a year ago.
Yeah.
Magic can happen. That's just and that golf course, he knows it like his back of his hand. He's won there 5 times. So he knows that golf course very, very well. So no, I will never count him out. I'll never.
And 4 under on day 1, 3 strokes back. He's in striking distance. He's playing the way he's playing.
Yeah, good start.
Very good start.
We'll jump to Major League Baseball, and here's 5 possible trades that could again. Now this is Tim Kelly. This is his article. So this is
more
what
speculation
he predicts could happen. So the first one is Nolan Arenado to the Mets. That's what he's predicting. Again, that's one of them. The next one is Brandon Belt to the Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, he plays with the Giants. He has Corey Dickerson going to the Giants from the Marlins. He has Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies going to the White Sox. That would be an interesting trade.
Sure, yeah.
And then he has, I don't know who this guy is. Mitch Anger to the Detroit Tigers. I don't know who he is.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, so have I.
I couldn't tell you who he played or what position he played, but I've heard the name.
Yeah.
He's currently with the Seattle Mariners, and he played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where am I seeing this? I just saw it. Now I'm missing it. What the hell did I do here? Second year of arbitration. I just saw his position in all that.
Second base?
I thought he played outfield, but maybe he does play second base.
I'm not sure. I know the name, but he plays in St. Louis with Seattle, so he might as well play on Mars.
Well, I mean, it is the West. That is the West Coast. That is the West Coast. So, and again, well, because you know more about the Tigers than I do, Bud. What is the ballpark like? Someone come from Seiko Field in Seattle, going to where the Tigers.
It's a doubles park.
Okay.
It's got a short porch and left. I think it's 330 to left, 345 to right, but it's 410 all the way out to center field. Right. It's very doubles friendly. It's got a big wall in right center. You hit it off the wall, you got a chance to get 3.
Okay.
You got those short fences in the corners don't produce a lot of triples, but if you can hit it into the alley and center field, you can run for days.
What do you guys think of Blackmon going to the White Sox? That would be something.
That'd be an interesting move.
He loved that team a little bit.
I would hate it.
You would?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He's a Tigers fan. That's why he hates it.
Only for selfish reasons. For the White Sox, it'd be brilliant. But as a Tigers fan, no, absolutely not.
I get it.
Nix that trade.
Well, I did bring up a question of this a long time ago, so now I'll ask you guys. Do you think it's worse going? Well, of course, Detroit doesn't have this kind of like we have, in this area, division rivals and crosstown rivals. What do you think is a worse trade? Being traded to your division rival or to a crosstown rival? So, if the Yankee player gets traded to the Mets, or if a Dodgers player gets traded to the Angels, whatnot, or if they get traded in the same division. So, what do you think think is more disgusting?
I have an answer for that. I think a division rival would be worse. Because most of the time getting traded across, like if you were in New York and you got sent to the Mets, you wouldn't see the Yankees maybe once in 3 or 4 years. But if you got traded to the Rays, you're going to see them in a couple of weeks.
Well,
Especially
because they haven't really played that and you did play every year, so it's not like the old days.
But you still don't play like you might see them once a year. You got a 3-game set against the White Sox and Cubs play once a year, maybe twice. They have a set in May and a set in June, and then you don't see them for the rest of the year unless you see them in the series. Unlike going from Boston to New York, if you get traded from the Yankees to the Sox, you're gonna hear it for the next ever.
You'll hear it from me a lot, believe me, especially Red Sox.
Or getting traded. If I was playing in Chicago, I'd rather go from Chicago to Chicago. Especially I don't have to move my family. I don't have to move my stuff. I don't have to move. It's a lot less travel. It's a lot less. Logistics are a lot easier than getting traded from Chicago to Detroit. I go to Detroit. I gotta move all my family to Detroit. I gotta change schools. I gotta and then I'm gonna see Chicago. I'm gonna go back to Chicago in 2 weeks, and now I gotta play them. That's my answer.
No, Lewis, I agree with him. I think it would be harder to be traded to a division rival. Yeah. I mean, I can say this: Johnny Damon won the World Series, got traded to the Yankees, went to the Yankees as a free agent. So yeah, I think it's harder when you have a division rival. If from the Tigers to the White Sox, or the Tigers to the Twins, or somebody in the division would be hard. The Yankees, obviously, the Red Sox, and you get traded to the Rays, you're going to see these guys 9-10 times a season because we used to be with that franchise. So I would agree with that, and I think it's very, very hard. It would be worse to be traded to a division rival than, say, if like he made the example of the Mets with the Yankees. You're not going to see the Yankees that often. So if I get traded to the Mets, okay, well, I'm in the National League now. That's the American League. See ya. I don't have to worry about it.
Well, in certain areas, fans don't take the trades very lightly, and because when they do announce the name of the foreign team, they still boo them anyway. So, and New York and LA fans are the worst. When you hear the names, they'll just boo you right back to where you came from, So,
with the one possible exception, I think probably the worst trading would be to be sent from the Lakers to the Clippers. That'd be horrible.
Oh, that'd be suicide.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's not only a division rival, but it's across town too. So, thanks. Yeah. I'm gonna go hang myself now.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
They're in the same division too.
Right.
Yeah. It's division rivals too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, there was awards handed out in Major League Baseball. We'll start with the Cy Youngs. Now, Trevor Bauer won for the Reds. He's the first Reds pitcher in franchise history to win the Cy Young.
Go figure.
He beat out Darvish and Jake DeGrom. Do you guys agree with the pick with him winning the Cy Young this year?
Absolutely. I mean, there was no way DeGrom was going to get a third Cy Young. He didn't even the first Cy Young back 2 years ago. I mean, he had a great ERA, but his record was pathetic. It was only, 10? He only had like one game above or even a game below 500, and they still won him anyway. That was a joke. At least this time they got it right. So there was no way DeGrom was going to get that third Cy Young award. And if there's a conspiracy, I think that's involved in that. Darvish, I was kind of shaky on, so I think I'm the right move.
All right. So then the American League Cy Young went to Shane Bieber, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Bieber. It's Bieber, like in Justin.
Yeah, he beat out Kenya Maeda from Minnesota and Min-John Woo from the Blue Jays. The former Dodgers pitcher was actually a first time year. Did they get that one right in Cleveland this year?
I can't argue with it. I really didn't.
I can't argue that either. And it's pronounced Bieber, like in Justin Bieber, which I think is
okay. Oh. I know I pronounce a lot of names on these shows incorrectly, especially when it comes to hockey. I can't pronounce last names to save my life.
That's what you have me here for.
Then you're all in trouble.
Well, that or UFC fighters. I can't pronounce their last names either. It escapes me.
Well,
we got all those Luigi guys.
Russian hockey players, Japanese baseball players, and of course the UFC players. That's where I just like,
Just
I don't
give
know,
me a number. I know who you're talking about.
so that's my problem.
So NL Rookie of the Year went to Devin Williams of the Milwaukee Brewers. He beat out Alec Bloom of the Phillies and Jake Cronenworth of the San Diego Padres. So he beat out them. I didn't watch a lot of National League
I
ball.
didn't follow baseball as closely as I have in the past, so I can't argue any of these awards.
Okay.
They should have all gone to Tigers, and that's the end of it.
The AL Rookie of the Year was Kyle Lewis of the Mariners. He beat out Luis Robert of the White Sox and Christian Javier of the cheating Houston Astros.
I'm go there.
And then Manager of the Year in the National League was Don Mattingly. AL Manager of the Year was Kevin Cash. This is the first time
they got those right.
20 years that the managers of each league are in the same state. How about that? So the state of Florida swept the Manager of the Year this year.
I think they got those right.
Yes,
I do too. I mean, the Marlins were the team that got hit with COVID, and they still made the playoffs. How do you not give that?
It's St. Louis too, and they both
right.
Incredible recoveries.
I know you guys are younger than I am, but you do know that Mattingly did play for the Yankees at one time, right?
Oh,
he did?
Yep. Sure did.
I know you're young. Adam, but I do remember.
I do that, yeah.
Okay.
He played space, right?
That's my job.
And speaking of the Yankees, I am on a podcast tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'll give you guys the link if you want to pop in and listen. I have to give a reason why to put the second Mount Rushmore for the Yankees. So they've already done one already. I have to give a reason why. Now I can't think of the damn players I'm going to be talking about. Roger Maris is one.
Okay.
The other one is, why can't I think of his name? Number 15, the catcher. Why the hell can I never think of the guy?
Yeah, played in the 70s.
Thurman Munson?
Thurman Munson is the other one.
Yeah, he should definitely be up there.
I have to give a 2-minute speech on both of them on why I believe they belong up there. Now, the other guys are like Derek Jeter, Babe Ruth. Why do they deserve to be up there than those guys do? To me,
okay, so
I could be old, but Roger Maris still owns the single-season home run record, in my opinion. That's just me because of the way McGwire cheated. Again, yeah. So to me, Roger Maris still has the single-season. Actually, he actually still owns the American League crown because those are both National League players. So there you go.
So who was on the first one?
I have no idea, but this is not. I was invited to the podcast. This is a good buddy of mine who has his, like what we're doing now. He has 4 people, and they take one topic and they talk for an hour and a half on what the topic is. Like he had me coming on, tomorrow night like 7 o'clock to talk about hockey, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. I've got to eat dinner, so I can't go out that early.
Dinner and sleep. That's for.
Yeah, right.
Live show? Is it a call-in show or no?
I'll find out for you, Lewis. I'll find out for you. Like I said, I know they're going to be debating the Yankees. I'll give you guys the link. You want to put it there?
Send me the link. I'll check it out.
And me talk because I have my notes ready to go for tomorrow. Now,
I can't.
Go ahead, bud.
I was gonna say I would like to know who they put up on the first Mount Rushmore because then it would be my Mount Rushmore for the Yankees got to be Ruth. It's hard to put Clemens on there with the cheating. Mantle, Gehrig, and Rivera. Yeah,
that would be right. Or you could put Jeter up there, one of the two with that.
I would put Jeter on the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would argue that Jeter, Maris, Munson, and then
Yogi.
Yogi could go up there.
But Yogi up there?
Yeah. They've so many greats over the course of the last.
They have a bunch of them.
How about Reggie?
Yeah,
Reggie could go. Mr. October. It's hard to argue against Mr. October.
There's another one that I think they're going to be talking. Somebody got Reggie Jackson tomorrow night. So somebody's going to be talking about Reggie tomorrow night.
It's so hard to argue against any. You got so many all-time greats. Jorge Posada. I mean, where is he?
Up there, yeah.
I mean, he's my Yankee catcher. And not that I don't have anything. I love and hate them both at the same time.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Would you go as far as putting Alex Rodriguez up there?
No. He's a bum. Overrated. Big stick, but he didn't do much other than that.
Okay. Now we had today the MVPs got handed out.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu won for the White Sox for the American League.
That's a good call.
Freddie Freeman won for the Braves in the National League. So those are the two MVPs.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah. Well, to me, I would have loved to have seen Atlanta and Tampa Bay in the World Series. I would have loved to have seen that.
That would have been a better series.
I don't know how high the ratings would have been, but it would have been nice to see those two teams in the World Series.
I'll put it like this. Usually they come out with who's going to, has the odds to win next year. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Braves do go next year. I mean, they have
they're a very talented team.
From back a few years ago.
They could get on their own.
Yeah. Because I think they're returning to the glory days of the 90s and early 2000s, and I think they're on something here. So I would not be surprised if they do go get to the World Series, even win it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. I mean, it would have been, like I said, if they would have played the Rays, that would have been interesting this year. It would have been two other teams where you don't have any really big markets. I mean, Atlanta's obviously, I think, the bigger market than Tampa is. I don't know.
Yes.
It's marginal.
Yeah, so they're close, as far as that goes. But then again, you don't want to do that because you want to have LA because you want to have a big market, obviously, or a New York or a Boston or somebody that draws a lot of eyes to the World Series, even though it was a bubble like it was in hockey. So speaking of the last baseball story I have is the Astros GM is suing the Astros. Because of his punishment from the call sign stealing. And that's Jeff Lunau, by the way, if people don't know who he is.
I've got 5 fingers for you, and you only need 1.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing now is you have A.J. Hinch, who is now the manager of the Tigers, as that was announced a couple weeks ago. And now we have, what's his name, back too, Alex Cora back in Boston. Yeah. So both of them are now back in the thick of it again, and now he's the only one that's out of a job. So of course he's going to bitch about it because he's out of a job. So what do you guys? I mean, do you think it's a baby move? Do you think that I want someone to pay attention to me, or is it one of those things where I'm going to try to sue them because they cost me my legacy, as you want to call it, as a GM?
Well, maybe you should try not cheating. We'll start there.
Well, that's exactly. Let's try not to cheat.
What about frivolous?
Exactly.
Well, and I'm not. I don't know how you feel about Alex Cora coming back to Boston. But I'm not. You asked me a couple weeks ago when it was first announced that Hinch was coming to Detroit and how I felt about it, and I was like, I'm not happy about it. I don't support cheaters. I don't like people that cheat.
No.
Yes, he did his time. Was it enough? No. I told you when this first thing broke and I got everything. At first, and I'll be honest with you, at first it sounded like sour grapes from the losing side, the Yankees. And then as more and more came out and the evidence mounted against Houston, I was like, no, throw the book at them. Suspend them all. Fire them all. Keep them out of baseball. We don't want to reward that kind of blatant disregard for sportsmanship. Right. It's not fair. If I'm playing by all the rules and you decide that you're just going to break the rules because I want to win, that does a disservice to me, my team, my fans, and everything that I'm doing the right way. And it's the same level of cheating as all the steroid use. And MLB turned a blind eye to steroids for 20 years because it was making them money.
Cheating is cheating.
And if I was the Illiches and I was put in that position, I would have rather said, look, I understand he's the best guy for the job, but he's not the right guy for the job.
No.
We'll find somebody else. We'll work within our system. We'll work within what we have, the talent pool. We'll look in college baseball, high school baseball, look around the country, look around the world, and we'll bring somebody in. And hopefully, of course, you can't guarantee anything. Hitch could bomb and be fired in a year anyway. You never know.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. We're operating under the proviso that there's going to be a 2021 baseball season, and that's
Again, that's going to be interesting how they're going to do that this year.
I would not be shocked at all if there was no baseball next year.
I don't know if I go that far. I mean,
the CBA is up at the end of the year. I believe it's up in December.
Next year.
Yeah.
I still think we'll see.
Is it next year? I thought it was at the end of 2020.
2021.
Okay.
Oh, the whole year. Okay, so there will be baseball this year then.
Yeah.
It'll be
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was I thought it was fixing to expire.
No, October 2021. Now,
okay.
I don't know about 2022 if you'll see a baseball season. That's up in the air. But
with there being there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of things that can be done between now and then.
Yeah, true. But
there's a lot more time. I didn't realize. I thought it was. Get back to me in July and we'll talk about that because I thought it was expiring in December.
No, it's 2020. It's of 2021. But
so after the World Series next year, then
I think baseball will go on scheduled for the 2021 season. Unless we get another severe outbreak, which I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I think it's going to start on time, April 1st, and I don't know. I think it'll go. I think better than this season. I mean, we were surprised that it was going to happen this season because we were thinking we can't do it. But when I was on another show, and just in the middle as we were wrapping it up, actually, they made the announcement that we're going to play a 60-game season. And that caught all by surprise.
Yeah, me too. I believe I texted Bradley and I would message him on Facebook. It was like, I can't believe we're having baseball.
Yep.
See, that's a bet I would have lost.
Yeah. Yep. Nope.
Yeah, we're all thinking about that.
Yep.
I was on Ralph's show when that happened.
Yeah, I was sitting here and I think I talked to Adam and I think I talked to Luce. I didn't think there was going to be any baseball at all. I thought, no way was it going to happen.
Because the owner said they wanted 60, the players said they want 100 175, whatever. Well, I mean, a little bit. You get the idea. They want 70, 75, and then the playoffs. No, because that would be pushing into November, and that's the last thing that they should do.
Yeah, you don't want to play. I don't.
Baseball is not made to play in cold weather, even though you get games like that in April, which I mean,
but if you're playing outside, well, you be in New York, it can still be cold in April.
Duh.
Yep, true.
I've games playing in the snow in April. I'm like, what are you doing?
Having fun playing baseball.
Just think of it. If it's late October, November, did he throw a fastball? Was that a snowball he threw? I don't believe what I'm seeing here.
I remember there was this is a hilarious. It was about 15, 20 years ago now. There was a spring race at Bristol, and they had a snowstorm.
Yeah, that's right.
Making snow angels on pit road. That was an interesting afternoon.
You're talking to someone that's never seen snow in person, so
you're not missing much.
That's what I've heard.
Go to Colorado. Spend 2 weeks in Colorado. You'll never want to see it again. Go to Denver. Get a ski package in Denver.
Tennessee.
You'll be set for life.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cold weather states, let's go in and talk about the college football. So the top 25 have been released.
I'm just gonna be over here hanging myself real quick. So
we have
why is that?
Alabama on top of the mountain again, as we all expected that to be. The Irish have moved to number 2 over Ohio State after their win against Clemson, who now is at 4, Texas A&M at 5, Florida at 6, Cincinnati 7, 8 BYU, Miami at 9, Indiana at 10, Oregon at 11, Georgia at 12, Wisconsin at 13, Oklahoma State at 14, Coastal Carolina 15, Marshall 16, Iowa State 17, Oklahoma at 18, SMU at 19, USC at 20, Texas at 21, Liberty at 22, Northwestern at 23, Auburn at 24, and then at 25 is Louisiana Lafayette. So those are the teams that they have ranked. That's the AP poll. Now, I don't know how much difference in the college poll, the coaches poll. I don't think there's much difference other than they have Florida over Texas A&M, which I don't know how they do that because A&M beat Florida head-to-head. So I don't know how you can rank.
Didn't Georgia beat A&M?
They haven't played each other yet.
They haven't played each other yet? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think at all.
Now to say, huge shout out to Hugh Freeze there at Liberty. He's got them boys playing some good ball.
Yeah.
Well, they spoke on local radio here the other day that they were hoping that they would extend it to eight teams, and they were talking about possibly putting in a team like Coastal Carolina or Liberty or Cincinnati was even mentioned. How do you guys feel about that? If they extend it to 8, put the Power 5. I think Adam talked to me last week about this. You put the 5 Power 5 in there. Obviously, you're going to have one from each conference. And then you give 3, out bowl bids.
At large.
At large. Do you think any of the teams like Liberty or like a Cincinnati could go, or a Coastal Carolina could go play a Ohio State or an Alabama and not win, but give them a game?
They can play them.
They can
play them.
Okay.
Do you want to see 52 young men get their lives destroyed? I don't know.
Exactly. Won't be competitive enough.
Well, that's the whole thing is, do you – Again, it must come down to
they're not good enough. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not dissing these kids. Don't take me out of context, please.
Right.
They're just. It's so unfortunate for those kids because, if they had the talent to play at a better school, they would be playing at a better school. And I don't mean any disrespect, because obviously they have way more talent than I did. Because I didn't even. They would have told me to go, kick rocks if I'd even shown up the practice facility at Picks Knuckle State. But you've got, it's like me trying to in an eating contest against Joey Chestnut. I mean, I can eat food, but I ain't good enough to eat food against the best.
No.
Right.
And you have to consider competitive eating a sport. Anyway, this is why they remove, I think, the cream puff schedule this year. Those games is because it's like almost playing Division 1A against Division 3, and that's not really competitive because you're gonna you're gonna think, should we even show up today? Because I know we're gonna lose 118-2. So
right,
you want to take a chance and get whooped, or should we just bow up gracefully now and get out of here?
And it's different than, I don't know. I wouldn't, if I was one of those kids, I wouldn't turn the opportunity down. You never know. Any given Saturday, something crazy could, it's one of those Saturdays where crazy things could be happening. But, are you going to? Probably not. Is Cincinnati going to go in there against Alabama and give them a ball game? Probably not. But if you don't play the game, how do you know?
Yep.
Well,
I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. More football.
I know, but there is such thing as a fair fight, and putting up Liberty against Alabama when or Lafayette, Louisiana, which I'm surprised is up there. I don't think it'd be a competitive enough game. I don't think so either. Right now, oh boy, it's as bad as I thought. It's 110-0 right now, and we're only in the second quarter.
We haven't even kicked off yet, and it's already 110-0.
Yeah.
David Goliath did not for a fair fight, and he kind of lost that fight.
True.
That was my surprise.
Yeah, every now and again David pulls one off, but more often than not,
I gotta get
Goliath for a reason.
I gotta get myself a better sling. Excuse me.
All right.
Hey Goliath, here's one for you. Hey, what was that? Surprise.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead, guys. These are the favorites as of we speak for the Heisman Trophy. So you have Justin Fields at Ohio State. You have Zach Wilson at BYU, Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, Kyle Trask at Florida and Travis Etienne at Clemson as a running back. Out of those five, who do you see right now is the favorite right now as we speak? So,
You want to do it first time, or do you want me to do it?
You can go ahead.
I think it's going to be obvious. I know people are going to think I'm crazy for saying it, but I think we're going to have to go with Justin Fields.
Out of Ohio State? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Because before Lawrence got you know what, you call it you know what, or that thing, depending on
Yeah.
Okay, he was just the favorite, but after being on these games, now he's not the favorite. I don't know if that's fair. I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, it wasn't like he got injured with a broken leg or whatnot, or his arm in his sling was out for 6 weeks. I mean, this was totally by a freak of nature, by Mother Nature. So, and you want to penalize him for that? I don't think that's fair. But that's the way the committee sees it.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it makes it crumble.
I don't think Fields is a lock. Because there's still more games to be played. Unfortunately, the Clemson lost. I think Notre Dame's a paper tiger. They gave up 40 points to the backup at Clemson.
Yes.
Probably should have lost that game. And was it a final 47-40?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
They gave up 40. They gave up that defense got mauled. And it was the luck of the Irish, if you will, that they won that game.
Well, do you think the outcome would have been different if Justin was playing? I mean,
Trevor
was playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought so.
I think it's experience. I think the backup. I'm not sure what his name was. Was ETN the backup?
I think he was
running back. It's Wallaway. I can't pronounce his name correctly. He's Samoan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he give him 2 years to develop, and they go in there and they stomp a hole in Notre Dame and walk it dry. I saw a lot of tentative play. He made a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad throws, just lack of experience. I wouldn't say he did anything egregiously wrong. It's just when you get in against a team like Notre Dame, you gotta be flawless, and he was less than perfect. And sometimes I bring this up a lot, but the other team does get to make plays sometimes, and sometimes they just make a play. You're not necessarily doing anything wrong. You're in the right spot, and the other team makes a play.
Yes.
So this is the last 2 times these teams play each other. I think they rematch the ACC championship game, where I think Clemson will win this time around, where it needs more. So in a weird way, yes, you won the battle, but you didn't win the war. So to me, I believe they're going to meet again in the ACC title game. I think it's December 15th or coming up 18th in Atlanta. So I wouldn't be surprised to see those two back playing. The only one that can, obviously put a link in the chain would be the Hurricanes. Miami would be the only one that could cause a catastrophe with that. Were there any of the games, guys, that jumped out at you this past weekend that would have? I'm not even going to bring up the Michigan game, but I mean, is there any of them that jumped out at you other than that one that was a surprise over the weekend? Was there any of them that? I mean, did you believe that Florida dominated Georgia as much as they did? Because I was shocked myself after they went down 30-0.
I crawled in a bottle about 3:30, and I don't really remember anything after that.
I was sitting in the bar, and I had to ask him about Jim Harbaugh. I had to ask you about Jim Harbaugh.
I never loved the pick in the first place because, and I said this 6 years ago when they hired him. Why? He couldn't get it done at Stanford, couldn't get it done at San Francisco, hasn't got it done at Michigan. Okay. And all they do is complain and bitch. And I said it for 3.5 years, ever since the Ohio State loss, the most gut-wrenching loss I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Fourth down.
He lost his fire. He lost his competitive edge. He's been done since that loss, and it's been a slow train wreck that I just can't take my eyes off. If they go and lay an egg against Wisconsin this weekend, he's done.
Yeah.
I was watching some of the games last night because the MAC was playing, and the other three non-Power 5 Michigan teams were playing. It was Eastern, Western, and Central. And I like what Jim McElwainey's doing down there at Central, and I got my eye on him to bring him to Michigan next year. If Harbaugh either gets fired or walks away, that'd be who I'd like to tap. I don't want to tap another Michigan man. I want to go outside and let's get some fresh blood in there. I like that offense that he was running down there at Central. It seemed quick. It seemed explosive. I didn't watch the whole. I got sucked into the Western Toledo game because that was a much better ball game. Central was just beating up on whoever they were playing. I forget right now.
Yeah.
And that'd be who I'd like to tap. But I know he didn't exactly do, wonders at Florida. But sometimes you need a change of scenery.
It's tough because again, when you are in the shadows of Steve Spurrier, anybody other than Urban Meyer, you're after Urban. So anything like that, we know all three of us can't stand him anyway. But the whole thing is, when you're in the shadow of a legendary coach like Urban Meyer, and then obviously Spurrier before him, it's hard. Oh, but Jim McElwainey, to me, was the best out of the three after Urban Meyer, because you had, I forget who the head coach at South Carolina is now. He was here, and now he's doing okay at South Carolina. Yeah, he was okay. But Jim McElwainey would do very well at Michigan. He would be the type of guy that I would, to give an opportunity to go to a big program again. He was here in Florida for, I think, 2 or 3 years. Then he got let go. But right. I wouldn't be against that if I was a Michigan Wolverine fan. I definitely wouldn't be against him coming to Michigan next year if Paul gets fired.
I don't like the idea of bringing in a guy that's never coached. They want. I hear a lot of people talking, and they want Charles Woodson. And I don't understand why. I can understand if he was coaching somewhere, special teams coordinator, defensive coordinator, some kind of coaching. He's a TV guy. That's all he's done for ever since he retired. He started out in he retired at the end of 2015. With ESPN, was a pro guy for a year, and then they tapped him to go be one of their college analysts. And he does a lot of work on their morning, their Fox's Game Day, if you will. I forget what they call their show. And I just don't understand that. Why would you get a guy that's just done TV work? And as a Detroit Lions fan, we know what TV guys do.
Yeah.
He who shall remain nameless.
Well, I mean, to me, like I said, McElwainey, I think would do well there.
I would love it. Let's give him. Let's at least take a run at him and see what he says. I mean, the only thing I can say is, like, if I was outside of being a Michigan fan, if I wasn't a Michigan fan, I wouldn't want to take the job. It's a brutal job. You can't lose a game. You can't have an incompletion, or they're calling for your head.
Yeah,
your head.
It's a brutal fan base.
Oh, I know.
You wouldn't expect it, being the upper Midwest and being a laid back people, but it's a brutal fan base.
I know.
It's an absolutely brutal fan base.
Well,
I can blame a coach for not wanting the job.
Well, on top of that too, you guys could lose every game as long as you beat Ohio State. They're happy, because that's the one team just despise every year is the Buckeyes. So
you got to be Michigan State too.
At Michigan State too. You got to be.
You can't lose to either one of those teams, and we've already lost to one, and we're probably going to lose. It's going to just keep getting worse before it gets better. Dark times are ahead. we've got to win this weekend. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've
7:30
got to
kickoff.
win this weekend.
7:30 kickoff. That's one of
Yeah.
the games I see on the schedule.
Yeah, it's the late game money on ABC this weekend.
I'll be tuning into that.
We just have no choice.
I'll be watching the Florida game because they play Arkansas. I want to see how good they do after
Oh,
they
yeah.
beat Georgia, and Kyle Pitts is out. He's not going to play. I think he's in
Oh, is
concussion.
it?
Ah,
So, and then we have Felipe Franks, who was the quarterback at Florida, and now he's Arkansas's quarterback.
Oh, okay, so it's Florida, Arkansas.
okay.
Yeah. They're playing the Razorbacks. I was watching YouTube earlier today, and they were talking about they think Arkansas, they're going to lose by very little points, or they're going to lose by a bunch of points. So no one's giving them a shot.
One of those games.
To me, you can never count out anyone out totally.
No.
Because you never know. Things go your way, just like Boston College is playing Notre Dame. Yeah, we're all going to sit here and say there's no way BC can beat them. Well, you never know what might happen on Saturday.
They almost beat Clemson.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Now, again, there's been a bunch of games postponed, obviously, because of know what.
Alabama got a game postponed.
Ohio State got their game.
Yeah.
See, that would have been interesting. The Ohio State game would have been interesting. They're playing Maryland, and that's Tua's brother. Have you seen him play? He's not a bad quarterback.
No, I didn't think he was a bad quarterback at all.
No.
Boise State's handing Colorado their, you know what?
I have an A&M and Tennessee got canceled. Georgia, Missouri, Auburn, Mississippi State are the ones that are all. A lot of games in the SEC this week that got postponed.
Yeah.
What where are you seeing that, bud? What?
It's on Fox. Fox FS1.
Okay, got you. Okay.
I've been going back and forth between that and
The NFL.
The pro game. Yeah.
It's 17-10 Tennessee in the second quarter. Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers is warming up. I'm not sure. I've been watching mostly the college game and talking to you guys, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
I had a Colts in this game, but it's only
this game.
It's not.
I just like Derrick Henry's just too much.
Yeah, true.
I think Tennessee's going to be a tough out.
Yeah.
But are we ready to switch gears, or do we have more on the?
We can do the NFL. I was going to do that. That there was an article. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I saw your pre-show notes, and
about Eric Bieniemy and the Chiefs, how they're going to give more draft picks to teams that have. Now, let me ask you this question because I think, to me, I think it's yes. How many of you think that Bieniemy is long due over for a head coaching job? Should he be a head coach
next year?
Yes.
He takes the Lions job next year.
That would be fine. I just want to see him get a job somewhere under Alpha. I'm not considering Andy Reid a bad because Andy Reid's obviously a great head coach, Hall of Fame coach, we all know. But I'm saying now let Eric Bieniemy be a head coach somewhere to see if, and Detroit would be a great fit for him to go and remold a team, get the team the way that he wants it to be.
Unfortunately, he's not going to have Patrick Mahomes under center anymore, though.
That's true. That's true. You're going to have Matt Stafford instead. But
not that Matt Stafford's a bad quarterback, but he's just no.
Well, he's not. Patrick Mahomes is on his own planet. He's just on his own planet.
He's another generational talent.
Right. Correct. And I guess that's what they're predicting Trevor Lawrence to be. So
another generational talent.
Yeah, generational. So we'll see how that all buckles down with the draft coming up. So let me go ahead, guys. So last week in the NFL, any big surprises other than the goose egg that the Bucs laid on Sunday Night Football?
That was the biggest surprise to me. I was not expecting Tampa Bay to play so god awful.
Okay. Yeah, that was. I watched the game and.
I watched the game like this.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There were a lot. Oh, yeah, there you go, Lewis. Yeah, pulling your hair out.
I crawled into a bottle about 8:30, and I didn't crawl out again until I had to go to work.
There's not. I mean, that game, I think, surprised me a lot. And they were all talking about how good Tampa Bay was. They were the third best team in the National Football League. Well, I think they jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah. Let's pump the brakes. New Orleans is a very good football team.
They are.
So let's not write off. Sometimes the other guy gets the jump. Again, the other guy is allowed to make plays. Let's not write off Tampa Bay just yet. It's not all over yet. Brady's had bad games before. Let's see. Who do they got this week?
Carolina.
That's a bounce back game. It's definitely a bounce back game.
Carolina. Yep.
You get to 6-3, going. You're starting. Okay, we're feeling good. Let's get feeling good. Let's get a couple of good drives together. We don't gotta go down and score, but we gotta be productive, and we gotta be more productive than we were last week. We gotta get defensive stops. That was the biggest problem, is they couldn't get off the field on third down. And they hardly could even get them to third down. Let's get them to third down. Let's get off the field. We'll start putting some drives together. We'll go down. We'll get some points. And everything's it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's not like I ain't sitting here going, would it have been better to lose 31-38? Yeah, of course. And not that I want to lose at all, but a better offensive showing would have been better. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just one game. It wasn't like we lost in the divisional round and we're out of the playoffs now or anything.
No.
Excuse me.
Well, and then on top of that, you have no Christian McCaffrey playing either, so that's going to help.
Right, that's going to help.
So that'll help.
Not that I want to see him back on IR. He's a generational talent at running back.
At his
But, get better next week, as it were.
Well, how about the other game? How about the Buffalo Seattle game? How about that?
That game that shocked me. Jared Allen won me my fantasy league game this week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he dropped like 34 points on him. That I was thinking Russell Wilson would put 34 points on.
We all.
Yep.
Buffalo's going to be a tough out.
Yep.
I'm sorry about your Jets. They might want to move that team
to where?
London.
Maybe. If Jaguars don't go, I think we're going to go there.
Jaguars go to London. Yeah. Jaguars go to London. I trust me. I watched that game.
What about?
Because I'm like, the Jets are going to win this game, because Flacco was throwing it all over the field. I was like, this is going to be the Jets' first win of the year right here on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And somehow
they jetted it up.
Newton somehow drove down the field. We got in field goal range and won the game. That's all I'm going to say about that. So
the Jets did what the Jets do.
Yes,
they did their best Jets impression.
Yeah, this is true.
Matt, is this Patricia's last week
in Detroit?
Yeah.
Who are they playing?
On the planet, they're going to launch him into the sun.
Who are the Lions playing this week? They're Washington. They're playing the Washington football team at home.
They might as well play the Wizard. They'd have a better shot of playing basketball.
Yeah.
So I got jokes. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, bud. That's fine.
They maybe they're playing baseball.
They'd probably do better at baseball than the Tigers did.
Yeah.
Can we lay some? I would send half the squad to play baseball and half the squad to play hockey and see what the hell happens. Can't be any worse than our other two teams.
Nope. I don't think so.
I mean, you have Buffalo and Arizona this week.
That's going to be a hell of a ball game. Oh, okay. I'd say that now and watch it be a 6-10 punt fest.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Boring.
It's in the desert, so they're in the desert playing the
Cardinals.
weather.
Cactuses.
Yep.
Who does Minnesota have?
The Vikings let's see. Who's Minnesota? Minnesota's on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears in Chicago.
The Bears.
That's going to be the Vikings.
The Bears are there, and then
run all over Minnesota.
the Patriots have a tough game. We got Baltimore. Ooh, that's going to be
Patriots are not the same team as they have been in the last 15, 20 years.
the Ravens.
I think that it comes down to quarterback play, like a lot of these games are.
Yeah.
Depends on which Lamar Jackson you get.
True. Well, I think
if they can stymie Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton balls out. I mean, it's a ball game.
Yeah.
I don't think the Ravens are as far away from everybody as everybody thinks they are.
No.
I don't think the Steelers are a paper tiger. They're 8-0, but they could very easily be 4-4.
Roethlisberger's got 2 sore knees and COVID, so good luck if he's out for a long period of time.
Yeah.
That team isn't going to win with it. Yes, they have a great defense, but that team isn't going to win games.
And they're missing that defense isn't even that defense is paper thin as well. They lost Devin Bush.
Yeah.
I forget which Michigan guy they took. What about San Diego? Who do they got this weekend?
You mean LA?
LA.
No, San Diego.
Okay.
They're at Miami. So you have Hubert.
That's going to be a fun one.
That'll be a fun game to watch. 2 quarterbacks out of the draft playing against each other.
Do you think Herbert is better than Burrows?
Ooh. I don't know. Joe Burrow.
Do you think? Okay, let me rephrase. Do you think he's played better than Burrows so far?
Joe's had some good games. I don't know. I mean, Hubert. The problem with the Chargers is they find a way. They're like the Falcons. They find a way to lose a game.
Yeah,
they find a way to lose a game.
Finding new and creative ways to lose. That's the story of my life.
I would say Joe Burrow at this point, but Hubert's not a bad quarterback either. Hubert, Tua, and Joe Burrow are all going to be good if they can stay healthy.
Yeah,
Tua's going to be the question mark because if he runs with his knees, how long is he going to last? So that's going to be the question for the Dolphins is, okay, how long are you going to last, kiddo? Because you're not Russell Wilson, and I hate to bring it up, you're not Colin Kaepernick, who's a bigger, stronger guys. So good luck if he gets hurt, because then you got Ryan Fitzpatrick. So good luck, the Dolphins have a lot of draft picks, but good luck. So we'll see.
Little Fitz magic never hurt nobody.
No. Let's see.
I don't know.
Who else? We have
any other games that jump out?
Seattle's playing at the Rams. That should be interesting. That's a division game that they'll be playing against.
That's a division game. They need to bounce back and bounce back hard after getting shellacked in Buffalo.
Yep. And the bye weeks are the Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, and Falcons are on the bye.
My goodness.
So,
okay. Wow. The Falcons have already lost the bye, huh?
Yeah. I
can't believe they lost 30-27. Chucked another one away.
Yeah.
On the bye.
Yeah, it's like I said. The Falcons find a way to lose. I hate to say that, but that's
finding new and creative ways to lose. Yeah, and the first team they're the first team to score a touchdown, to be allowed to score a touchdown and lose.
Yeah.
Against the Lions, Gurley tries to stop and falls into the end zone.
Yep. They lose that game because he fell into the end zone. If he had stayed out of the end zone, it would have been no issue.
They could have kneeled on the ball and taken their last timeout and
won the game.
Kicked a field goal, won the game.
Yep. That again, they find a way. Well, they started to find a way to lose a game in the Super Bowl. I mean, we can even rewind back to that because they found a way to lose that.
The Patriots cheated, though. Come on, they took out the air out of the balls in the second half, and they just blew it right there. cheated. Remember, boys and girls, once a cheat, always a cheat. Remember that.
Yeah. I mean,
football, baseball, or dodgeball.
If you
dodgeball would
can dodge
be
a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
dodgeball would be cool if that was an actual sport on TV. Dodgeball would be
Professional dodgeball.
that would be awesome.
Didn't ESPN have that on in the afternoon
Yes.
10 years ago, 15 years ago?
Remember, a cheat is always a cheat, no matter how you look at it. Whether it's done by an individual or a whole team.
True. False start on the center. Oh, that's great. Good job there. All right. Fantastic.
On a field goal attempt, too.
Yeah, field goal attempt to the center. No, not
it's
center.
4th and 24.
Yeah, they're going for a field goal here. The kid
Or
from
I understand the. No, I'm not.
the kid from Georgia is their kicker.
Hold it.
Kicker.
It's good if it's long enough.
Yeah,
There's a flag. Did they run into him?
Yes. But they're
Are they just going to decline it and take the field goal?
probably
they're going in the locker room, so obviously the field goal must be good. They're going to go into the defense. Okay. So they go into the half 17-13. Yep. All right. Here you go.
17-13.
17-13 into the half. Colts have a good defense.
Colts are not a bad team.
No,
not entirely. I think that they should have picked up a quarterback this year in the draft, this past year in the draft, because Phillip Rivers is only a stopgap.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Bring back Andrew Luck.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Yeah, right.
Man.
I know.
No, I know that would never happen. Yeah,
Him by lightning.
yeah. There's no way that would. I mean, I don't know. Do you see them getting a quarterback in the draft this year, or one of the mid-level guys?
It all depends who's on. It depends on where they finish.
Yeah.
Because if they finish with the pack or in the playoff team, they're going to get a later round pick unless they trade up.
They're going to get a mid-first round pick. Yeah. I don't know if there's anybody going to be left.
Because by that time, Fields and Lawrence will both be off.
Both be gone. Maybe that BYU quarterback. I'm not sure what year he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Could be. That could be.
What year is Trask?
Trask is a senior.
He could be available in the mid-first round.
Because we have.
Do you think he's an NFL talent? Is he borderline?
I don't know. I know, he came close last week to breaking Tim Tebow's record, and Tebow wasn't an NFL quarterback.
Right. So, probably the greatest college quarterback of all time, but not an NFL quarterback.
I mean, we have Emory Jones, who's behind Trask, who's a running style quarterback. So it'll be a little bit different next year at Florida than it will be, the standard pocket passing quarterback will have a little bit of speed. And that's what I guess Mullen's trying to do is he's trying to get these speed guys, which it's not a bad way to run your offense in college. It works in college. It doesn't work too much in the pros.
But
it works in college.
I've always said this, and I've been saying it for 15 years. In college, you're playing 1 5-star athlete, right? On average, maybe 2. When you play, especially against the big teams, you play 1 defensive lineman who's a 5-star, 1 linebacker who's a 5-star, and one corner who's a 5-star. You're getting 3 5-stars, and most of the 90% of the guys, 95, 99% of the guys that you're playing against aren't going to the NFL. Once you move to the next level, everybody is NFL level talent. Even the worst team, even the 0-9 Jets have 52 players that are considered NFL level talent. They may not be the best guys to have ever laced up a pair of cleats, but they are NFL level talent. And so when you get in against those guys, they're faster, they're stronger, they're smarter, and you're playing against everyone and you might play against 3, 4, 5 seniors a year in college. You're playing against, on average, guys that have played 3 or 4 years of NFL football. these guys are playing. So when you come in and you run and you take off and run and they're coached, so they're so coached so well. So that doesn't, that Wildcat thing that was so popular 4 or 5 years ago, it's gone by the wayside because everybody, when you bring your running back in, everyone expects to run.
Right.
And when you do gadgets and trick plays, they work about once a game. You get one trick play a game. You get one gadget play a game. If you can't drop back and throw, if you can't open holes up the middle, you're gonna get a seal here and a seal here, and you're gonna go up through the gap. The same plays that they've been running since the '60s.
Right. Well, guys, we're running up on the end of the show. We guys want to have any? You guys can have closing thoughts if you like. You guys can take the stage on closing thoughts. Anything that jumped out at you guys over the show, or anything new that you guys we didn't talk about?
I'll let you have first shot, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think we did talk about, but I'll just refresh it. The NBA is, of course, going full speed ahead with the season on December 22nd. I couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. So, 72-game season, which isn't really a big drop. It's
10 games.
Season. So, that is a very strategic move. Of course, but the NBA officials are a little worried. Like, it was like too quick of a turnaround. They're worried. The officials are worried about the health. I mean, these guys, I think can handle it. They're strong. They're fast. So I don't really see what they're really concerned about. I mean, they handled it well in the bubble. I don't see why they can't handle it well here. Even though it's only like 72 games, which was a lot more than I was expecting. Because when you have a short season, they would probably say like 48, 50 or whatnot. So the majority of it, is going to be you're not missing much. So, but at least we're going to have I think a fairly decent season in the NBA, and I'm waiting for it.
Cool. All right.
Adam, I'm going to say congratulations, Chase Elliott. Got it done.
Yes.
That was awesome. I look for big things in the future. We're on to Daytona. We're gonna put everything up until January. Enjoy this win. Enjoy championship season, and we'll see y'all next year at Daytona. Harbaugh is on his last leg. He's got to win this weekend. Tampa Bay needs to bounce back after a tough loss to New Orleans. Seattle needs to bounce back as well. I can't believe the NBA is going to push for I'm surprised that they're going forward so soon. The NHL, I think a shortened season would be best. I think they should delay the start till February. I think that would be best. I'm not exactly happy with the realignment proposals because it puts Detroit back in the West and puts them playing the majority of their games on Central Time, which is very annoying. And that's the whole reason we left the West in the first place, is because we didn't want to play a majority of our games on Central Time.
Right.
And I think that's my time, and I will concede the floor.
Well, the way I see it is like, Detroit's in the West. They're in the West. The West of what? West of what?
Back in the old original 6 days, they were the furthest east Western team.
Yeah, I mean, they belong in the East because they're East. They're not West.
Yes.
They're West of where?
West in the Mississippi?
Who they must have flunked geography or something.
Right. Well, back in the old, it was, when it was Montreal, Detroit, Chicago, Boston, New York, and who was the Boston, Toronto. They were a Western. They were further west than Boston, New York, and Toronto. So they were one of the, and then that was just kind of how they always were. And not anymore. They're an East, and they should play on the East Coast. But
exactly.
looking at the red, there's no one else you can move from this Eastern. That's more. There's no one else further west than Detroit in the East, and Detroit would be the only logical team to move to the West.
Yeah, I'm going to do in Vegas when that starts next year. Mm-hmm. I'll see you for another time. All right, fellas. Good night.
Have a good night. Good talking to you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and jump to my thanks, Adam. Thanks, Bud. Thanks,
Yeah.
Lewis, as well. Guys, these last 2 weeks, man, have been great.
Fantastic.
I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, to be honest with you. I mean, I had my own show on Monday, so I think I'm growing as a podcaster. I think I wanted to kind of mold myself to where I was at, to where I got comfortable enough. But I'm comfortable enough now, and I like the way that the show has been going the last 2 weeks. So the only Thursday coming up will be obviously Thanksgiving. I'm not going to make you guys get on here on Thanksgiving night.
I'm down for. I don't got anything going on, so if you want to jump on it like 9 o'clock and do an hour, you just hit me up and let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know, because I mean, as of right now, I don't plan on being on here 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock, maybe from 9 to 10.
Yeah.
I could talk about USF UCF, because that will be the next day.
We could do Friday afternoon. We could do an hour on Friday afternoon if you got nothing going on. I don't have anything planned.
I'll let you know, but maybe I don't know. Well, either that, but if you have anything going on Friday night, maybe I could do it Friday night.
We do a couple hours on Friday night.
I'll see if Lewis is available on that night too. We'll have to go ahead.
If he's available, just me and you. Yeah. I'm good with it. We can probably do this off the air if you want to hash it out. You want to go ahead and do your closings, and we'll.
Yeah, but again, if you are looking for In the Zone, since the Walker Report is part of In the Zone Sports Radio, they do have gear, the Zone gear. You can order it at squadlocker.com. Type in the Zone Sports Talk Radio to get your gear. I actually have a shirt that has the Sports Nerd, which is my thing is here on the back of my shirt, and my number is 30 because that was the day I was born in September. So that is my number, and it's part of my favorite goaltender in Marty Brodeur. But that is a different story. Again, I am sponsored by CreatingZenSpaces.com, the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning organization, decluttering, and bed sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. I am also sponsored, guys, by B&B Graphics and More. Again, they have a Facebook page at B&B Graphics and More. They do customize in tumblers. I have one. Coffee mugs, T-shirts, vinyl, Santa cookie, milk for Santa, food, and reindeer customs this time of the year. You get 10% off, guys, just for mentioning me. There's 2 ways to place an order. That either you can contact them on Facebook at B&B Graphics and More, or email them at bnbgraphicsandmore@gmail.com. The person you want to talk to is Rebecca. She is the one that's in charge. And everyone that's in my local area in Florida, hopefully everyone is staying safe after the tropical storm rolled through here yesterday. I was one of the lucky ones who didn't lose power or wasn't flooded in or anything, but there was a lot of debris on the roads this morning, and everyone's still kind of flooded in certain areas. So hopefully everyone out there is, recovering as the storm is moving. They have it now out in the middle up by Raleigh, North Carolina. It's going through there right now. So everyone in North Carolina, staying safe there on the coast. Before I go, as I always do, thanks to everyone, the doctors, nurses, all the essential workers that have been the true heroes through the pandemic so far, the last 8 months or so. Again, to the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us. Thanks, everybody. Yesterday, Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to everyone out there as well. I would not be able to talk into this microphone 3 days a week without you guys and your sacrifice. So thank you guys for that. Also to our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics locally, our domestic soldiers, thank you for keeping us safe here domestically. And as always, I am the Sports Sir. This has been the Walker Report with my co-hosts Adam and Lewis. I am the Sports Sir, Brad Walker. Thank you again for popping in here on Thursday night and listening to us talk about sports. That's been awesome the last 2 weeks.
It's been fantastic.
So again, guys, I will see you guys. We'll be back here next Thursday at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be on the Legacy Battle podcast tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I will leave the link on my Facebook page if you guys want to pop in there and see. It's going to be hard for a Boston Red Sox fan to talk about the Yankees, but I'll try to do my best when it comes to that. But anyway, guys, everyone have a safe weekend. I'm going to be hitting the links on Sunday, but everyone have a good college football Saturday, NFL Sunday. The NBA will be back here next month. Hockey, I guess, will be within the next 2 months. MLB, I guess we'll be talking about that soon, too. But for everyone out there, everyone, I love all of you. Thank you for tuning in, even if it was just for a second or two. Thank you. I will see you guys next Thursday. I'll be back on my Monday podcast, the Sunshine State Sports Hour, on Monday at 8:30 p.m. That is part of NGSC. So pop over there, and I will be posting my articles as I always do. But until then, guys, everyone have a good night. This is the Sports Shirt. Peace.
We'll see you in Daytona.